last video, we ranked the most insane anti-tank rifles ever made, and the comments absolutely tore us apart. No NTW-20? Where's the Snipex Alligator? And how do you talk anti-tank rifles without mentioning recoilless monsters? So this time, we're fixing it. These are the anti-tank rifles and shoulder-fired armor killers you said we missed, and some of them make the first list look almost reasonable. From forgotten Cold War beasts to shoulder-fired cannons so absurd they barely feel real, these are 7 anti-tank weapons we should have included, ranked worst to best.
Number 7. M18 57mm recoilless rifle. Look, I respect history as much as the next guy, but if we're being completely honest, this thing has absolutely no business being compared to anything on this list in terms of modern relevance. The M18 was a genuinely revolutionary idea for its time. Firing a 57mm round, it gave infantrymen something they desperately needed: a lightweight, man-portable anti-tank option that didn't require you to be a circus strongman to carry around. Weighing in at about 44 pounds, soldiers could actually move with it. That was the selling point. But here's the problem. The armor it was designed to defeat, that armor is now in museums. The tanks it was built to kill, early and mid-war German armor, light Japanese armor, those threats don't exist anymore. The physics of the 57mm round simply cannot penetrate anything that a modern battlefield is going to throw at you. You'd be shooting at a modern MBT with this thing, and the crew inside would barely feel it. They'd probably laugh. The recoilless principle it operates on, venting propellant gases to the rear to cancel recoil, that's a genuinely elegant engineering solution that influenced everything else on this list. So respect where respect is due. The concept is brilliant. The execution in 2024 is a relic. It also had a real backblast danger zone that made crew positioning genuinely tricky. And in a world where precision-guided munitions exist, the accuracy ceiling of the M18 just doesn't justify any tactical use case. Verdict: M18 is the great-grandfather of the recoilless rifle family. Respect your elders, but don't put them to work.
Number 6. M42 75mm/20mm. Now this one is fascinating and genuinely underrated as a piece of engineering history, but fascinating doesn't mean effective. The M42 was a dual-purpose weapon system. You had a 75mm recoilless rifle paired with a 20mm spotting rifle. The concept behind the spotting rifle was actually pretty smart. Fire a 20mm tracer round that ballistically mimics the 75mm shell. Confirm your aim, then send the big round downrange. It sounds clever. In theory, it reduces wasted ammunition and improves first-round hit probability. In practice, it made the system heavier, more complex, and gave crews twice the things that could go wrong. Military history is full of weapons that tried to solve 2 problems at once and ended up solving neither particularly well. The 75mm round itself was a step up from the 57mm M18, genuinely capable against lighter armor and fortifications. During the Korean War, it found some real application, but by the time Vietnam rolled around, it was already being phased out in favor of more capable systems. Here's my honest opinion, and I know some people are going to push back on this in the comments. The M42 is a perfect example of the military-industrial tendency to add complexity when simplicity would have been more effective. The spotting rifle concept was elegant on paper and awkward in the mud. It also still shared the fundamental limitation of all these early American recoilless rifles, the backblast signature. Set this thing off and you're advertising your position to everyone within half a kilometer. Not ideal. Verdict: clever engineering, overcomplicated execution. The spotting rifle was a good idea that real-world conditions exposed pretty quickly.
Number 5. M67 recoilless rifle. The M67 90mm. This one climbs the list for a few important reasons and drops back down for one that's hard to ignore. First, the positives. The 90mm round is a real step up in lethality. The M67 was capable of defeating a broader range of armor than either of its predecessors, and it retained that critical quality that makes recoilless rifles valuable in the first place. It's man-portable. A single soldier can operate it. In mountainous terrain, in dense jungle, in environments where you simply cannot get a vehicle, that matters enormously. It's lighter than the M40 series that came after it in American service, and it was genuinely effective against the armor it faced during its operational prime. But here's where I'm going to say something that might be controversial.
The M67 exists in an awkward middle ground that ultimately makes it the least satisfying weapon on this list to evaluate. It's not historic enough to be fascinating like the M18, and it's not capable enough to compete with what's above it. It's the mid-range option in a list where the extremes are more interesting. The 90mm round also has penetration limits that modern composite armor will expose immediately. And that backblast, persistent across this entire family of weapons, remains a serious tactical liability. Verdict: solid, dependable, capable within its limits, but this is the weapon you use when you can't get anything better.
Quick break! Our channel is new and is on its way to 1,000 subs. Become a part of this journey by subscribing and being one of the first 1,000 subscribers of this channel.
Number 4. Carl Gustaf M2/M4. The Carl Gustaf, 84mm of Swedish engineering that has somehow remained relevant from the 1940s into the 2020s, and that alone tells you something important. Let's start with the M2 because the lineage matters here. The original Carl Gustaf concept was elegant, an 84mm recoilless rifle with a wide variety of ammunition types, giving a single weapon system genuine multi-role capability. Anti-armor, anti-personnel, illumination rounds, smoke, heat, thermobaric. The ammunition flexibility is the Carl Gustaf's greatest asset, and it is a significant asset. The M4, the modern iteration, adopted by U.S. Special Operations Forces, among many others, takes that foundation and modernizes it substantially. It's lighter than the M2 by a meaningful margin, compatible with fire control systems, and the ammunition library has only expanded. US SOCOM didn't adopt this weapon because they had nothing better to do. They adopted it because it fills a tactical gap that nothing else in their inventory fills quite as well. Here's my take that's going to generate some debate. The Carl Gustaf staying power is partly genuine excellence and partly the fact that the West never fully committed to replacing it with anything better in the light infantry support role. It's been kept alive by a combination of its real versatility and institutional inertia. Both things can be true. The backblast is still there. It will always be there with recoilless designs, but the M4's weight reduction makes it more tactically flexible than most of its competitors. Verdict: proven, versatile, genuinely deserving of its reputation, with the caveat that some of that reputation is borrowed from a lack of competition rather than pure dominance.
Number 3. Denel NTW-20. The Denel NTW-20, South African, anti-materiel, and honestly one of the most brutal, purposeful weapons on this entire list. Let me be clear about something first. The NTW-20 isn't a recoilless rifle in the traditional sense. It's an anti-materiel rifle chambered in 20x82mm or 14.5x114mm depending on configuration, and it uses a side-folding two-man portable design that makes it genuinely deployable in contexts where a vehicle-mounted system can't go. That design philosophy takes something that has no business being man-portable and make it man-portable, puts it in conversation with the recoilless rifles on this list. The effective range on this thing is extraordinary. We're talking confirmed effectiveness well beyond 1,500 meters against materiel targets, radar systems, aircraft on the ground, light armor, communication equipment. It's not designed to kill people directly. It's designed to destroy the things that keep people alive and effective on a battlefield. The NTW-20 in 20mm configuration can defeat light armor at combat ranges that should genuinely make operators of those vehicles nervous. Honest opinion, the NTW-20 is frequently overlooked in Western firearms discussions because it's South African, and that's a bias that does a disservice to what Denel produced here. This is a world-class precision anti-materiel system that punches well above its obscurity level. South African defense engineering in general is significantly underrated in this community, and I'll die on that hill. Verdict: ruthlessly purpose-built, exceptional at what it does, ranks third only because the top two do everything at a level this system can't match.
Number 2. Snipex Alligator.
Ukraine. And if the name doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the design philosophy behind this weapon, nothing will. The Alligator is a large-caliber anti-materiel rifle that has seen genuine combat deployment in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. And that real-world combat validation matters enormously when evaluating any weapon system.
This isn't a range queen. This isn't a prototype that performs beautifully in controlled conditions and falls apart in the mud. This thing has been used against real targets in real conditions. The 14.5mm round it fires was originally developed for Soviet heavy machine guns and anti-aircraft systems. What the Snipex engineers did was chamber a precision long-range platform for that round, and the result is a weapon that can defeat light armor, disable heavy equipment, destroy radar installations, and reach out to ranges that stretch the definition of what a man-portable system should be capable of. Effective ranges in excess of 2 kilometers against materiel targets have been reported. The design is bullpup influenced, which helps manage the overall length given the cartridge size. Portability is still a challenge. This is not a one-person carry over long distances, but the two-man deployment concept makes it tactically viable in ways that a purely vehicle-mounted system wouldn't be. Here's where I'll be controversial. The Snipex Alligator deserves significantly more international attention than it receives. The fact that it's Ukrainian-made has created a weird situation where Western analysts either overhype it for political reasons or underevaluate it for the same reasons. Strip the geopolitics away. This is a legitimately impressive precision anti-materiel platform, and the combat data coming out of Ukraine is going to influence anti-materiel rifle design globally for the next 2 decades. Verdict? Combat proven. Devastating. Ranks second because the weapon above it has a legacy, a development curve, and a versatility profile that the Alligator simply can't match yet. The Fulgore, Italian, and the deserving winner of this ranking. The Fulgore is an 80mm man-portable anti-tank rocket launcher system, and what separates it from everything else on this list is the combination of factors that no other system brings together quite as cleanly. Effective armor penetration, man-portable without requiring a 2-person crew in most configurations, a modern guidance and sighting solution, and critically, designed from the ground up with modern composite armor in mind, not retrofitted to address it. The tandem charge on the primary Fulgore ammunition is the key differentiator. ERA, explosive reactive armor, has been the great equalizer against older heat warheads. The Fulgore's tandem charge defeats ERA before the main charge engages the base armor beneath. That's not a small thing. That's the difference between a weapon that's relevant against a modern tank and a weapon that's a waste of ammunition against one. Italian defense development sometimes flies under the radar, and the Fulgore is a perfect example of genuinely world-class engineering that doesn't get the recognition it deserves outside of specialist circles. The system has been exported and evaluated internationally precisely because it solves the problem it's designed to solve at a level that's difficult to compete with. It retains the core virtue of every weapon on this list. A soldier can carry it. It doesn't need a platform. It doesn't need a vehicle. Infantry can deploy it in terrain that would make a vehicle-mounted system useless. Verdict: best penetration capability, modern design, tactically flexible. Deserving number 1.
7 recoilless rifles. 1 clear winner. The Fulgore at the top, built for the threats that actually exist. The M18 at the bottom, built for a world that no longer exists. And everything in between, making cases that are stronger or weaker depending on what you're actually trying to accomplish on a modern battlefield. Drop your disagreements in the comments. Genuinely, if you think the Carl Gustaf deserved the top spot, tell me why, because that's actually a defensible argument and I want to hear it. If you think the Snipex Alligator is underranked, give your argument. That's what the comment section is for. Now, here's something I want to say directly. We are building something here. Right now, this channel is on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and that first 1,000 matters more than any milestone after it. Those first 1,000 people are the foundation. They're the ones who were here before this blew up. And if you're watching this right now, you have the chance to be one of them. Hit subscribe, and I promise you what's coming next is worth being here for. If you enjoyed this video, the one on screen right now is going to hit exactly the same way. Go watch it. I'll see you there.